Hello everybody watching on YouTube, and welcome back to Season 6 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to Lime Rock Park for the Sprite Challenge. As we're getting set for 15 laps of racing at the shortest road course we go to on the schedule, a 1.5 mile road course that takes less than a minute to get around, so we could be in for an interesting race, to say the least. After all, Lime Rock is one of the more popular road courses in the NR 2003 community. But before we take a look at the starting lineup, let's take a look at the point standings, as after today, 2 races left in the season after today. So after our last race at Talladega, Jessica Shelton's points lead got cut a little bit. She leads by 32 points over Rob Evans. Excuse me, a hiccup right there. Third, Benjamin Miles. Fourth, Anthony McCrory. Fifth, Jake Baskinger. Sixth, DJ Curtis. Seventh, Caleb Kilburn. Eighth, James McLeod. Ninth, Trent Dunham. And then 10th, our winner from Talladega, Michael Norman. So the top 10 separated by 111 points, but pretty much the battle for the championship mathematically right now is going to most likely come down to the top 5 of Shelton, Evans, Miles, McCrory, and Baskinger. It's 78 points separating those 5, and anything can happen, especially here today on a road course at Lime Rock. But let's take a look at the starting lineup. Starting in the last row, we have Joey Parkhill and the points leader, Jessica Shelton. Top 10, Bradley Zorgdragger is on the pole for today. Starting next to him is Rob Evans. Row 2, Carson Gum, Anthony McCrory. Row 3, Jonathan Zorleen, Jordan Forbes. Row 4, Cole Baker, Trent Dunham. And then row 5, James Shelley and Logan Bradley. Let's get the command to fire engines for the Sprite Challenge at Lime Rock.
Drivers, start your engines!
All 40 drivers rolling on the racetrack to get to the start-finish line. It's been a long time since we've been to this racetrack, and now with the advent of pit strategy put into play here, this is going to be a really fun race to watch and see how things are going to play out. And also for some of these drivers, this is a relative unknown to them. Guys like Rob Evans, who has never raced here before. But we'll see what happens as we're getting ready to come to the front stretch to take the green flag. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to boogity 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 go racing. Well, Bradley Zorgdragger led the first lap here today at Lime Rock, but he's got some competition right behind him as Carson Gum is closing in on the back bumper of the 66. And then meanwhile, battle might rage on for the third position between Rob Evans and Jonathan Zorleen, as Zorleen actually has a run underneath of the 88 of Evans as they're getting ready to approach the bus stop of the racetrack, and Carson Gum still hanging on to the back bumper of Zorgdragger, and meanwhile, Zorlene's got by Rob Evans, and now Cole Baker looking to make a move to go by Rob Evans for the 4th position now. Rob Evans is definitely looking and hoping that he can get a top 10 finish today, and hope Jessica Sheldon finishes bottom 5, and that way Rob Evans could close in on the points lead. But meanwhile, let's get back up here to the front because the racing's getting good. 3-car fight for the race lead. Bradley Zorgdragger has Carson Gum on his outside and Jonathan Zorlene right on his back bumper. These 3 cars going balls to the wall here in the early going before pit strategy would come into play. And Carson Gum actually gets by Bradley Zorgdragger for the race lead. Our first lead change of the day, at least so far, bringing Zorgdragger back to the 2nd position with Zorlene still right on his tail, right behind him for 2nd. Let's see, is Zorlene gonna make a move? Oh, he thought about it. He really thought about making the move, but decides to lay back in line behind the 66. But now going into turn 1, let's see what the 41's got. And wow, can he clear him off of this corner here? Yes, he does. He made that pass look easy right there going into turn 1. Great pass by the 41 of Zorlene, and now he's just got one more car ahead of him to get to the race lead, and that's Carson Gum in the 19 car. Looking around to see what's going on as far as battles on the racetrack. Looks like back here a battle for 11th between Chris Dollarton and Trent Dunham. 2 drivers within the top 10 to 15 in the point standings. But Dollarton makes the pass look easy as he goes by Trent Dunham for position. Back up here at the front, look at Zorlene go. Look at the speed that he has with that motor under the car, and oh, contact! A little bump and run right there from Zorlene to Carson, but they are still side by side for the position. I don't know, but this could help Bradley Zorgdragger close back in on those top 2 potentially, as Zorlene trying to clear Carson Gum for the lead, and he does. 2 lead changes on a road course, which is incredible, before pit stops occur. But there is 1 car on pit road already, and that's James Qualls in the 70 car. Perhaps it will be like every 5 laps, perhaps, these drivers would have to come to pit road. I don't know, let's see, we're coming off the final corner here, and none of the leaders elect to come to pit road. In fact, none of the top 10 elected to come into pit road this time by. But does anybody else decide to go in? Nope, but Trent Dunham really slowed up right there. And I'm not sure as to why. But where in the world is James Qualls at on track? As meanwhile, the battle for the lead continues between Zorlene and Gum. But real quick, let's see where is Qualls at on the racetrack. There he is. And he is, according to scoring at the last lap, he was on the lead lap, but I feel like he is a lap down for sure now. But back up here at the front, as this battle between Carson and Zorlene continues, Zorlene still hangs on to the top spot on the track. Meanwhile, we might see a battle for 3rd ensue between Zorgdragger in the 66 and Dylan Young in the 2. And look at Dylan Young go to the inside and is going to clear Zorgdragger before they even exit the corner. Nobody elected to come into pit road this time. And Jessica Sheldon, who is the points leader, looks like she would be scored 39th right now. But let's do our best to try and do a full field rundown real quick. maybe of just the top 20 for now, at least until they pit. Jonathan Zorline is the race leader. Second, Carson Gum. Third, Dylan Young. Fourth, Bradley Zordragger. Fifth, Jordan Forbes. Sixth is Cole Baker. Seventh, Jay Jefferson. Eighth, Chris Dollarton. Ninth, Logan Bradley. 10th, Rob Evans. 11th, Jake Rogers. 12th, Anthony McCrory. 13th, James Shelley. 14th, Raphael Duke. 15th, Cole Deaver. 16th, Matt McIntyre. 17th, Jake Baskinger. 18th, Kyle Matthews. 19th, Cody Lamas. 20th is DJ Curtis, according to scoring. Or I could have been wrong right there. I don't know. Let's just say he's 20th for now. Anyways, 21st, Charles Sanford. 22nd is Dylan Pote. 23rd, Trent Dunham. 24th, Caleb Kilburn. 25th, Joey Parkhill. 26th, Emmanuel Hartnett. 27th, Benjamin Miles. 28th, Melissa Alexander. 29th, Joshua Cooley. 30th, Johnny Gardner. 31st, Joshua Collard. 32nd, Michael Norman. 33rd, Phil Parker. 34th, Seth Cole. 35th, James McLeod. 36th, Zachary Fitzwater. 37th, Tim Fiegel. 38th, Jessica Shelton. I guess I did kind of screw that up. I don't know who I missed. Could it have been Dylan Jacobs? I'm not sure. But we're past the halfway point, and right now Jonathan Zorline's still holding on to a pretty slim lead over Carson Gum. As meanwhile, back here, a battle on for 5th as Jordan Forbes goes by Bradley Zordragger, and then you got James Qualls, who's a lap down, perhaps relying on a bit of strategy, hoping that everyone else pits and he stays out the rest of the race and might have a chance to win. I don't know, that'd be a big long shot, however, as meanwhile we got this cluster of cars battling for the 6th position now. Carson Gum, the first one to come in the pit road of the top 10. Then Forbes elects to come in, so too does Zordragger, Jefferson, and Dollarton. Perhaps about half of the field is electing to come into the pits this time, and then the other half looks like they're staying out. But Jonathan Zorline hangs on to the race lead for the time being. That is until he has to pit perhaps this time by. But luckily for these guys, they only have to pit once. So Qualls might have been playing it smart, pitting on lap 5 going into lap 6 in hopes that he could cycle around and get some positions. I don't know, like I said, it's a bit of a long shot for him, but he might be able to pull it off as Zorline comes in. Dylan Young comes in. Qualls going to stay out and get back on the lead lap. Rob Evans, he's coming in along with Logan Bradley, Cole Baker. Raphael Leduc comes in. Cody Lamas comes in. Looks like Baskinger and Sanford come in. Parkhill, Gardner, Sakuli, Collard, McLeod, Parker, Seth, Fitzwater, and Shelton. But out of the first group of cars, Carson Gum got out ahead, but about the second group, there's Zorline, who led that second group of cars into pit road. Looks like he's going 4 tires and fuel, and he's going to have a relatively easy exit as nobody was around him, as there were some gaps within the pit stalls. So Zorline gets out ahead of this group of cars, but look at Carson Gum go as he's trying to catch up to the 41, but the 41 gets back out onto the racetrack ahead of the 19. So I think Zorline's still going to hang on to the race lead for now. So the top 20 now, Jonathan Zorline leads still. Second, Carson Gum. Third, Dylan Young. Fourth, Jordan Forbes. Fifth, Chris Dollarton. Sixth, Rob Evans now. Seventh, Bradley Zordragger. And then a cluster of cars fighting for 8th, but that's held by Jay Jefferson. 9th, Logan Bradley. 10th, Cole Baker. 11th, James Shelley. 12th, Jake Rogers. 13th, Dylan Jacobs. 14th, Raphael Leduc. 15th, Matt McIntyre. 16th Anthony McCrory, 17th Cole Deaver, 18th DJ Curtis, 19th Cody Lamas, 20th Jake Baskinger, 21st would be Dylan Poteet, 22nd Charles Sanford, 23rd Kyle Matthews, 24th Trent Dunham, 25th Phil Parker, 26th would be Caleb Kilburn, 27th James Qualls if he's officially back on the lead lap. Let's see, according to scoring, he is back on the lead lap. 28th Joey Parkhill, 29th Seth Cole, 30th Melissa Alexander. 31st Joshua Sekuli, 32nd Johnny Gardner, 33rd Benjamin Miles, 34th Tim Fiegel, and then 35th Michael Norman. And then currently the bottom 5 would be James McLeod, Emmanuel Hartnett, Zachary Fitzwater, Joshua Collard, and the points leader, Jessica Shelton. Not been a good points day for the points leader, as she actually could possibly lose the points lead after today, because Rob Evans, who's second in points, currently scored in, I think, maybe 7th or 8th. Let's see here at the line. Currently scored an 8th. And Rob Evans' goal today is to try and maintain top 10 on the racetrack and hope Jessica Shelton stays in the bottom 5 so he can close in or even get the points lead going into the penultimate race of the season, California, next time, which will be this Wednesday. Back up at the front, Jonathan Zorline holding pace up here at the front as he came into this race 11th in points. Still has one win to his credit in what I consider his renaissance season, but he's looking for that second win of Season 6, and he's got 2 more laps to get around and make it happen. Carson Gum, less than 2 seconds back, and then all the way back here is Dylan Young, followed by Dollarton and Forbes. Jordan Forbes going for his 3rd top 5/top 10 finish of the season and of his career. As it looks like we might actually have a potential 4-car battle for the 6th position with Zorgdrager, Jefferson, Evans, and Jacobs. 2 out of those 4 are teammates, Jefferson and Jacobs, but Jacobs actually lost a little bit of ground. Jefferson, Evans, and Zorgdrager looks like they're going to be the ones that battle it out for the 6th position. But back to the lead, Zorline still has it as the white flag is going to be displayed. White flag for the Sprite Challenge at Lime Rock for Jonathan Zorline. Almost 2 1/4 seconds leading over Carson Gum for that spot on the racetrack. And all Zorline's got to do is just keep his car on the racetrack and not make major mistakes, and he will have this race in the bag for his 2nd win of the season. Through the bus stop, no errors on the track for him. So all he's got to do is just make it around off the final corner, and he's got it. And what has been a remarkable comeback season for Jonathan Zorline in comparison to seasons past, comes out of the final corner, checkered flag waves. Jonathan Zorline wins the Sprite Challenge at Lime Rock Park. Dominating performance, but it didn't come easy to get that dominating performance. He had to get around a few cars to get to the front and manage to pull it off as Zorline gets win number 2 of the season. Great run for that car for Curtis McIntyre Racing. Let's look at the rest of the results. Carson Gum, who led a couple of laps early on, manages to get a 2nd place finish out of all this. Dylan Young with a big bright spot finishing in 3rd. Chris Dollarton probably got back into the top 10 in points as a result of finishing in 4th. And then Jordan Forbes rounding out the top 5 to get his 3rd career top 5/top 10 of his career. Rob Evans with a great run in the 6th position, and he might have taken the points lead over possibly, or at the very minimum, closed in big time on the points lead. Bradley Zorgdragger, who led at the beginning, finished strong in 7th. Dylan Jacobs, great run in the 8th position. Jay Jefferson with a solid run in 9th. And then Logan Bradley rounding out the top 10 in the 10th position. Then there's the rest of your top 20, top 30, and then the bottom 5 for this week were Seth Cole, Joshua Collard, Jessica Sheldon, Michael Norman, and Zachary Fitzwater. So that does it for our coverage today at Lime Rock. 2 races to go in the season. Next up, it's the penultimate race, the California 400 at California Speedway, followed by the finale, the Banquet 400 at Kansas. But until then, here are your final results, rookie points, and regular points heading into California. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.